How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to You Don't Scare Me. My name is Karis. Today we're going to be watching 5 scary ghost videos of entities that do not hide their intent. I've definitely seen a video with this title before, but I'm fairly certain he's just recycling them. We got Blueberry Crunch again, because it's the morning. Good morning, by the way. You're getting this at 3 p.m. Good afternoon, by the way. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this one. Got my microphone a little bit closer to my mouth so that the audio comes through significantly better. And I've got my camera positioned on a tripod now, which is fantastic. Let's see if actually this little light here adds an element. Doesn't take anything away, so we'll leave it on. But maybe I'll turn off the backlights. Oh, I'm using my phone as a camera. Hey Google, turn off the bedroom lights. We'll go with it. All right, let's get into it.
The attic. In the next video, a man
I'll try to get rid of
explains
the
that he
crunching.
recently moved into a small wooden house in a very remote village in northern Italy, and after living in the city for so long, he was really looking forward to the peace and quiet and fresh air of this remote location. Unable to resist the wooden house, he purchases it. However, after a few weeks, he began to hear strange noises in the house at night, from time to time, mostly emanating from within the attic, from things like thumps, loud bangs and creaks, and sometimes what
That's
sounds
silly.
like something being dragged across the floor. Mind you, the attic had already been thoroughly inspected along with the rest of the house before he moved in. On one night, he
Okay, I get it. His eyes,
sounds, but this time it was
the long zoom in is kind of frustrating.
mustered the courage to go and check it out. Take a look.
Is this the same guy from before? Is this a re-upload? It came out 13 hours ago. Might be a re-upload. I've already talked about this one before, but in case it's the first time you're seeing it, the sounds don't change in their perspective around the apartment, so we're suggesting that they were added in post. And the only thing we have to go on here is there's a small piece of furniture material that gets thrown at the cameraman. Right here. Thrown away. It's not really much to go on.
Suddenly, a chair in the attic violently
Could be anybody behind that.
with a lot of force, completely full of fear. He just drops his phone and runs out.
Probably just somebody behind the curtain there.
After some time to regain his composure, he quickly retrieves his phone. But still shaken up by this event, he calls his friend and
I'm curious why his house has exit signs put above the doors.
he has no clue what resides in the attic.
I think the original story was that he was staying in an Airbnb.
We ventured
To be like a
into the
hotel.
unknown and the unexplained, but now it's time to bring our adventure back to reality as we uncover some hidden fortunes in Cash Frenzy. Cash Frenzy is an authentic Vegas-style free mobile slots game. It's like straight from the casino floor, meaning you'll have the closest experience to being in a casino. Cash Frenzy has
You know what really bothers me about this kind of stuff?
300 free to play
You can't avoid it.
slots, all with
Like,
gameplay. So join players from
I
around
want to blur that barcode, piece of shit.
on screen.
Listen,
Using the
I get it. Sponsorships. I'm surprised he has a sponsorship. Somebody is sponsoring his channel, which is amazing. Considering the content that he covers, you'll never like Nick and I will never get sponsorship on this channel.
making your time
It would be incredible if somebody did sponsor our channel, but let's be real here.
like Coin Mania,
Nobody really
Rockets,
like, we're not covering content that's crazy enough that people find it interesting enough that they'll continue to come back. If we ever get sponsored,
items to get
man, I'll eat my shoe.
to make the correct ingredients. One of my favorite slots is Big Money Frenzy, which is currently one of the most played, and as the name implies, I really enjoy winning those.
I would do something really interesting for our first
that jackpot. It gives you a nice
sponsor.
fulfilling sensation, anytime, anywhere. What can I say?
This is a really long ad.
So don't forget to download Cash Frenzy using the link in my description.
They must have paid for a lot of sponsorship, or either that or his airtime is so cheap that they were like, let's throw a whole friggin' minute in here.
Start you off. So download Cash Frenzy now. Evil manifestation.
Look, if we sell out like that,
The channel
to put ads in there, it's gonna be for like Ridge Wallet and stuff like that, things that actually matter.
And shortly after moving in, unexplainable.
Yeah, so this is a different episode,
around the house.
but it's a re-up of the same one, or somebody's covered this previously, and this guy's literally ripping off that person's video.
Position to move out. Recently, she returned after staying.
Oh, I see a face now.
For a week when this happened.
Oh, Lacey Susan. That was neat. I have a feeling I can guess I can guess how that was done. That's really cool. I love that effect. It doesn't appear to be a fishing line attached to it, but all you would need to do is wow, look at the expression on that thing. Bitch, what? I don't know why I said that. So, strings, in my opinion. I think it's fishing line. I think she's got fishing line tied around a particular point, like the very front where the face is, like the front where it would be facing. Where the face is facing forward, you tie a little string around whatever anchor point that is in the front of the piece, and then you just basically, like, when you pull it, it will start to rotate slowly, and then you see how in the original clip where it like rotates and then like almost like turns back slightly. It's because of the momentum of it turning, because it was being pulled forward. The momentum of it turning forward, it exceeded that because of the, you know, things in motion want to stay in motion kind of thing. And so her pulling on it actually got it to like recenter to her. And then her getting up and walking around the room, all she has to do is hold on to that string and continue the same amount of pressure. And the anchor point will continue to turn towards her. This is a fun one too. You know what that looks like? It almost looks like the side profile of the Axiom, the metal album, giant cyborg lady from the Axiom album. Sorry. Mustache. Milk mustache on a mustache. Sorry about that. But dude, the trick to eating with the mustache is you gotta like move it away. You know? I used to use butterfly clips to like hold it in place while I ate.
Face with a horn
It's silly.
seen. Even more terrifying at one point, she leans up and seems to communicate with it, but the camera picks up no sound, and she has no recollection of these events ever happening. But after watching the video...
Well, of course not. She was asleep. Do you remember everything that happens when you're asleep? I have night terrors like every single day. I don't remember half of them.
In her own home. On the next night, while in her room trying to avoid any activity, she hears what...
That was a new one, but I've seen this video too.
Making loud.
I wonder if this guy's just recycling old or like other people's content,
check what's going on.
or if he just recycles the same content, and that makes me wonder like how he got sponsorship at all. That was terrible. Ah, freshly clean beard, all the sugary milk. Ah, man, shit. I like scraped my mustache across the spoon and just dumped all of that all over my face. I should eat less messy foods. Is this the same girl? It's like an ARG or something.
Loli!
It looks like the same girl. That's what I'm always talking about, man. like that's broken. So I'm gonna move over here.
A dark shadow
This is what I'm talking about with these kind of things. They start out small and they just have to continuously get bigger and bigger and bigger because people aren't gonna want to watch it for long periods of time if it's not grandiose, right? Like if I posted my house is haunted and all it was a creaky door over and over and over and over again, people would click off so fast they'd get so bored. So you gotta like make it bigger and bigger and bigger. The thing that really annoys me about this kind of stuff is that like videos like these, they're trying to pretend like it's a real thing. Like they're actually being haunted. It's fraud, is what it is. It's fraudulent, and like it's a moral gray area because we're talking about entertaining people with ghost videos. But in my personal opinion, like you're discrediting the actual real accounts by making it seem like yours is genuine or factual.
Only at night. From an unknown source, a man from Mexico was living alone when one night he started hearing repeated knocks on his door. After going to check, he saw nobody there. A few days later, he started to notice some strange but subtle occurrences around the house, like objects in a slightly different position to where they were meant to be. These events quickly escalated into something more frightening. Late one night,
the string tied around the
bathroom
cable or
to record.
Pressure being pushed through because it had hot water in it. Maybe they've run hot water and it's starting to cool, and when it cools it like shrinks or expands. I'm pretty sure things shrink, and so like the cable is just resetting itself.
¿Qué cojones? En el nombre de Jesús te reprendo.
I'll always say everything is magic to the uneducated. Oh, you see, it's pointing towards him now. Okay.
The shower.
Let's
in the bathroom.
Let's pause for a second and ask a trivial question. If you were a ghost and you wanted to hurt somebody, what object would you project to them? That's right, a shower hose.
Appears to be moving quite a lot on its own, and after a while he hears.
I think most people would pick something a little bit more dangerous. If your intention as a ghost or a poltergeist of some kind were to hurt me, I think you'd go a lot further than throwing a fucking sponge at me or something. I feel like you'd probably want to like throw a knife or drop something heavy on me or shake the house or something. If your intention is to scare me away, you could do a lot worse. One of the adages that a lot of people say, or one of the things that a lot of people say regarding ghosts, if you have somebody knocking at your door, don't open it, because when you open the door, you invite the spirit into your house. So if we're talking about...
He hears aggressive knocking on the door, but as he opens it, there's nobody there, nor is there any sound of anyone retreating. Instead, he sees a creepy-looking figure in the distance just watching him. Now that he has opened the door, he has
an old lady out for a smoke.
And
what the fuck is that? Well, fuck you too!
In Indonesia, another woman experiences something similar. Late one night, around 1
again, it's a bit of a nothing burger if you ask me.
She is abruptly woken up to some aggressive knocking on her door. She thought it might be her husband because he likes to be mischievous, so she decides to record it. When she captures something chilling, watch closely.
So here's the thing.
Ya Allah. Siapa? Ya Allah.
Is that creepy music or creepy moaning added in post, or is it supposed to be part of the original film? Because if it's the original film, you already lost me. If it's just amping up tension music.
Ya Allah.
Okay, so the issue with these is that anybody can do them, and all it is like even TikTok had like a filter or like a sound thing previously. I'm not really sure. I didn't really mess with it very much, but always wish that our porches looked like this. It almost looks like in American culture,
Loud repeated
the
knocking
balcony
can be heard
and
at the
the
front
yard
door,
are not
but when she
extensions of the
opens
home;
it,
they're
there's
outside the
no
home.
one there.
But in
Even
cultures like
creepier
these,
is
Eastern
that the house
cultures,
is surrounded by
they're an
secure
extension of the
vents,
home. They're
so
another room
someone
to
wouldn't
the
be able
house.
to get in so
And I really
easily,
appreciate that,
nor
and I
run
wish I
away
could take
and
advantage
hide
of that,
out
but I
of
live in an
view.
apartment.
A few
My
minutes
balcony is an
later, while
extension of my
she's
home.
asleep, her husband hears a
It's
strange
I consider it
noise in the
another room,
house. Around 3
but
a.m.,
I appreciate that
and
kind of
goes to
stuff.
check
Anyways,
it out.
yeah. So TikTok used to have this way of adding like sound effects. Basically, it was a filter. So all you would do is you would just post a filter, then the filter would have a sound effect on it, and that sound effect was a knocking door, and people were using that to make it seem like there were ghosts. Um, but the problem with those is that when you approach an object, I'm sure you guys have taken some kind of science classes, so you know a little bit about how sound works. But when you're approaching the object that's making the noise tends to get louder. And when you're going away, it tends to get quieter because as sound waves dissipate from the object, they do just that. They dissipate. They grow weaker, right? And so, in the principle that we're talking about here is that the sound effects they don't change. They're just knocking noises, right? They don't change pitch as they go
What sounds like
more towards the
someone
object. So
splashing water in the bath
um,
amidst the
another thing is
darkness
too is that if you have
coming
any kind of
from.
headphones or
The
anything
noise
that
quickly
if
stops
the
as
sound
he
is only
opens
coming
the
from
door,
one ear,
and
it's
he
an
doesn't
overlay.
see
If it's coming
anyone
from
there.
both
But as
ears,
soon as he
or
closes
sorry,
it, the
I think it's the other
sounds
way around.
continue.
If you're hearing the sound in both
Returns
ears very
upstairs and
loud or
waits till
something,
morning
then it's
before
in
daring to
stereo,
go inside.
so it's more likely to be in the
Will ghost or
video.
not, you judge. If you have
Nick
any
knows way
video
more about sound than I
recommendations,
do.
you
I've
can
said
send them
previously,
over to
I
Books
can
of
fit
Despair
all of my
Business at
knowledge of sound
gmail.com,
systems
or
and
tag
sound
us on
repair, as you guys
TikTok
have
at
clearly
Books
can
of
tell with my
Despair
microphone
YT.
quality. I can fit all of my understanding of sound in a thimble.
The following video was taken by
Like it's just
security
I don't know
camera
shit
on
about
August
sound
22nd,
systems or anything.
2024
That's
by
my
a man
partner.
named Mario
That's
who
my
lives in a
brother.
secluded area by the woods.
I'll stick to what I know,
It's
which
around
is very little.
4:30 a.m. when Mario receives a motion detection alert.
I'm good with like
There's
spreadsheets
something
and stuff like
moving
that
in
and
the yard.
mathematics,
After reviewing
but
the footage, he
not so good
noticed
with
something
sound
strange,
systems.
so he
I can do
recorded it.
wiring,
Take a look.
electrical, not
Bola
bad.
de luz se transforma
I
en
missed the
dos
context of this video because I was talking again.
Después sale como un
And I can already tell you it's
que
bullshit.
se para
Um,
ahí y
if I was gonna guess the location, it's Mexico. Sorry,
se queda ahí. Ahí todavía está corriendo el reloj.
that guy just pop out of nowhere.
De,
He's got two heads.
se mira como dos cabezas, pues dos personas se mira ahí atravesadas a la misma vez. Que tiene
A little bit spooky that he's standing like an NPC.
a lo mejor es una pareja, pero no sé, ahí se empieza a mover.
So what we're looking at here
Muy bien,
is
pero ahí se
classic compression. When you have night vision cameras like this, they're not recording 24/7. That would take way too much resource. What it is the
What looks
camera.
like a ball
Let
of
me just
light.
pause this for a minute and talk about this. Yeah, so when you have a camera like this, I'm like fidgety today. When you have a camera like this, they save resources by powering down or recording over or just basically not recording anything at all. What am I trying to say here? We have a video up on it. Nick posted a video on it a little while ago. I should have made a coffee with my with my cereal there, but yeah. So essentially, all it is it's the camera doesn't have enough resource to continuously record. The camera would overheat. The camera would run out of data storage, and the compression ratios would increase exponentially if the camera was to continue to record. Because you're talking about like it's a stream or it's a recording. Clearly, they've recorded it. So consider the compression ratio on a 20 gig continuous stream, right? As the file size gets bigger, the system starts to save resources and starts to compress the file more and more and more and more until you basically have nothing. Even if you have like a 512 gig SD card sitting in your little your camera there, it's going to require to access or to write and stuff all over that data. So it's going to take a lot of resources. So to save resources, the cameras, what they'll do is if nothing is moving, they won't record anything. They'll show the same static film, right? When you're streaming it, it's different. So don't think that's the same. When you're streaming it, it's you're watching through the camera. And so all you're doing is engaging the camera and watching the feed. There's no recording happening there, so it doesn't have to compress anything. right? But when you're recording something, it's saving data by compressing certain areas of the film. And so in this case here, we've got a large open field with a low amount of light. So already there's not enough light being reflected off of an object and back into the camera lens to turn the camera lens on, right? It's a continuous recording without motion capture because obviously it's not highlighting the motion, it's just recording. So these guys have managed to find this happen. Maybe they were watching the cameras or the security, and they just happened to see a strange object moving through the field. I don't know anybody who records or goes back and views everything unless something happened. Cameras, you don't typically look at the footage. 90% of the time, nobody will look at the footage or the camera feeds unless something happens that they need to go back and do for like insurance or whatever. But in this case, you've got a really large open field with a very low light situation. So the camera is already isolating the front visuals, like the front area there, the illuminated patch of land right in front of them. And that would be where that would catch the most movement because that's where there's the most light being reflected back into the camera. So the background is being super compressed because there's nothing moving and nothing worth noting back there. And so when you see this object moving across the screen, all it is it's picking up the just the tiniest amount of light that's being reflected back into it, but not enough to trigger the camera. And when the person stops and stands still, then the camera starts writing that image over and over to burn in basically its current you know resource managing system basically, or the resource managing picture. So the picture that you see at that point is flat. It's just that's the same image. It's going to repeat it. And so if the guy moves forward, the camera can't understand that there's more movement happening. It's not saying, if this guy leans forward, it's going to continue to use the original sample that it was using to compress all that information. And so that original sample has the person standing behind him, and he leans forward. Now there's two of him because it still can't understand that that person has moved. And so when that guy rotates around to walk back, all it's really picking up is the shine of his flashlight or a glint off of his watch or whatever. And then it continues to burn in that guy's object until its new frame of reference is this image again. And that's really what it is. It's another thing. It's like a rolling shutter. It's going to take a picture every 0.5 seconds. Every time there's movement, it's going to continuously take images. And then when there's no images, it's going to take a shot every like 1 to 2 minutes. Like it's going to be so infrequent that the data is not going to compress properly here, or it's not going to show properly here. Anyways, I've added enough to that. But if you guys want to know more, check out the channel or check out the episode on our channel about CCTV cameras are bullshit.
Can be seen before it appears.
Anytime you get footage like that, it's just BS.
Kids who just stand there strangely for a few moments, looking in one direction.
It's not that they're standing there strangely. They're there, but the system can't really delineate that there's actual people there.
But then others believe that this is some sort of shape-shifting entity. Because just what would two boys be doing?
You guys need to stop applying human logic to inanimate objects or human logic to like animals and to security systems. They're not as good as you think they are.
Evening, when suddenly they heard
90% of these people, like you gotta understand, like the people who make these things, they're a business.
Trying to get in.
They are a business, so they need to make it as reliable as possible and as cheap as possible. It's like here. Okay.
Yeah, I heard the bell. Did you move the bell at all of it? Huh? Did you move the bell?
See that compression as they're walking by?
What sounds like the door handle being pulled out of nowhere can be heard, as if someone
What is more likely is I don't see a lot of like movement outside aside from that car driving by, and even then you can still see the compression around that car.
specifically to
It could be air pressure changing, the temperature of the inside of the house being warmer than outside, and so the envelope is pushing towards the door and the door is fully latched. And so the door latches fully, or the door is pulled inward by a gust of wind. Maybe somebody opened up the back door.
case, it seemed like it may have
And the air pressure being pulled in or released from the inside of the house is enough to shake the door and make the sound go off.
Follow.
I'm sure you all
It's a man named
have front doors and back doors, and that's happened before.
somewhere in Rosario, Argentina, where
Especially when the humidity gets higher. Is this the pants?
to record it.
This looks like the pants video from like years ago.
Estoy llegando a mi casa. Y ven el árbol, ven allá. ¿Lo ven?
Giant
Acá.
trees. There's some nice
Hay como una
big
figura.
trees in that street.
Me llamó muchísimo la atención de la cuadra anterior que lo veía. A ver, vamos a acercar.
Probably makes the city a lot cooler during the summers. I think I missed something. There was like a little bit of a haze or like some kind of like transparent figure that passes over. Or maybe somebody walks towards the tree.
¿No sé?
I'll probably play it again.
While walking home, he sees a strange shadow figure appear for a second before fading away, and as he goes up to the tree to take a look, a disembodied scream is heard.
The disembodied scream is just, it could be added in post. It could be a lot of things, a lot of different things. The shadow
He starts to hear strange
could have literally been a bug that flew too close to the light
Estoy sintiendo,
and, you know,
sintiendo hace un rato ruido acá atrás.
caused that.
Y no sé si... No sé qué mierda es. O esto es re oscuro acá.
God, these cultures are so different from our own.
¿Sí? Concha de tu madre. ¿Qué carajo es eso? Ah, una sombra. Y uff, veo cosas por todos lados.
A lot of people will go to places like Scotland, India, and
Veo cosas, pero estoy sintiendo como un golpe.
you know, they'll go on vacation and they'll be like, you know, it's not actually, the culture's not that different. You saturate the culture
No, nada.
in certain areas.
Ey, 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 ey. Todo el tiempo.
Meaning, like, if I go to Scotland and I go vacationing in Scotland, I'm either going to Glasgow or I'm going to
He hears an unknown voice which
Glasgow or I'm going to Edinburgh.
to just open
or Edinburgh.
the door and go back inside.
The problem with that is that they're tourist destinations, so they saturate the Scottish,
Because
sort
later
of
in the night,
culture,
he starts hearing
the touristy
sounds
Scottish culture into those areas, and
inside the house.
you don't really get a real taste of the actual culture unless you leave those cities and go check out, like, you know, we went and checked out a seaside town. So we experienced more of the actual day-to-day Scotland where people live, you know.
Ey,
What I mean to say is that, like, watching videos like this, it really gives you an unfiltered look into the actual day-to-day of these people and how exactly their culture works, which I appreciate, because, like, you're not otherwise gonna. That's a cell Funko Pop on the counter there.
el ruido viene de acá adentro, me parece.
So you got a daughter, obviously, and so you've got the daughter doing things in here, you know, hiding this little cabinet here. We'll make a ghost video. It's a family business now. You got Ninja Turtles on.
Concha de tu madre.
So dusty. So much dust.
Otra vez, ¿ves? Ruido acá adentro.
Paranormal events.
Okay, you didn't show us the bottom. There was just somebody. The kid probably climbed in.
Doll inside the
Or was inside the thing.
lives alone and explains that his daughter
He doesn't live alone.
is
He
away with her mother.
okay. Well, it's a divorcee. Alright, sure.
By the empty room.
Something tells me it's not the case, and they probably just staged that. They set that up
And
so
he
that,
starts to hear chilling sounds
you know.
once again.
this is the fun thing that him and his daughter do together. There is so much dust. See, now he's put a black and white filter over it to make it look like it was filmed at night. And so, like, this perspective is what I talk about when I'm talking about, like, fake ghost videos. This perspective that they do, where they use the camera as almost like their eyes, and it's a horror. It's somebody filming with the only point of reference that they have being a horror film. And so they're trying to build up tension and stuff like that. It's not real ghost footage. If that were the case, it would be a lot more, you'd be showing your face, you'd be showing your friend's face, you know, you'd be filming it candidly. This is purposeful filming, right? And I have a lot of experience with this because the person we have doing our filming does this a lot when getting our B-roll. A lot. And I'm like, it's silly, in my opinion. It's not genuine, in my opinion. When you get startled by something, I don't turn the camera and look in the direction. I tense up like this. So the camera would probably literally hit me in the face. Or I'd be like, oh shit. You'd never see what startled me, right? Because I'm trying to protect my body. So when people actually get startled for real and they turn their camera like that, it's bullshit. It's not a real human reaction.
Otra vez ruido en la pieza de mi hija.
Nick will literally stand on one leg, pull his other leg in, and then like this, like defend himself when he gets startled. Door handles are the oldest trick in the book. This is literally somebody standing on the other side of the door. Nick even did it once. He released a video. It was a YouTube short where he tied a fishing line around the door handle, put it underneath the door, and like pulled on it from the inside of the bedroom.
Oh, esto me da muchísimo miedo.
We're calling what do we say that? It's pivot points. Pivot points and
the door handle starts rattling before the door completely opens and slams shut.
Like snatch blocks, pivot points, and what do you call those? Pulleys. It's a good way to do it.
And decides
you don't really honestly need like a moving pulley. I just mean like a point in which you can wrap the string around. So if I'm standing all the way over here and I have a nail in a table, and I want the object in front of me to move, like if I want an object to move away from me, all I would do is tie a string around it, wrap it around an anchor point, and bring it back to me, and then pull on it. Because the pull isn't going to pull the object towards me, it's going to pull the object towards the anchor point. And you can set up like 12 different anchor points and just to get like weird, you know, movements and stuff. Oh, that was neat.
A hiss can be heard and a dark figure manifests out of nowhere, which seems to resemble what
silly
by the tree. He believes something has somehow attached itself to him and followed him home.
Because of that video, this wasn't a bug in front of the light, like I said earlier. What this is that person has put
miss an upload.
An opaque, or they lowered the opacity on an image, something, or an animation. Well, there you have it. 5 scary ghost videos of entities that do not hide their intent. I don't think I saw a single entity in that, genuine entity, and I don't think the title of this video was accurate in any way, shape, or form, because the first one was just sound, and I'm surprised he has some kind of sponsorship in here. He's got paid advertisements in this video. If he's the one who made the video or made the game, I can understand he's using his own videos to publicize his video game, but it gives me hope that one day we'll have sponsors for the kind of content that we cover. But if I'm being honest, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, yeah, so that's going to do it for today. I got a couple more things to do today, so I'm kind of running through these videos. If you guys like what we do, subscribe to our channel. Drop us a like. It goes a long way to helping us build up our channel and sort of lets us know what you guys like. We are planning on diverting more of our attention away from doing like videos like these and more into doing our own paranormal investigations. But everybody we have on our team, like Christian, myself, and Nick, we all work full-time jobs. So, and we're all on alternating schedules. So it's difficult to find the right amount of time to get them done. A good example would have been we could have done an investigation today, but I work tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. and everyone else is off, right? So if I went out and did an investigation today at night, I'd be leaving at 12 or 1 in the morning, and then I'd have to work at 5 a.m. It's just not going to work for me. So we'll figure it out. We'll have some time later on, and then hopefully, if our channel starts to get a little bit bigger and a little bit more traction, and we have some source of income coming in, then we can worry less about working as many as many hours as humanly possible, so that we can keep our lights on. And then we can focus more on this kind of stuff, which is what we want to do. This is what's fun to us, Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Yeah, happy October, by the way. I think one of my next videos comes out on Thanksgiving. So I hope that's not too stressful for you. Okay, thanks, bye. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment about what you think. If you have any videos you want to share with us, send us an email at youdontscaremeyt@gmail.com. See you in the next one.